Hi guys, my name is Rosalind and I am here with my new page, Purpose for Royalty, to talk to you a little bit about my journey. And I guess today the main thing I want to talk about is this season of transformation and transition and elevation. Something nobody ever really talks about is when you're going through transformation, it's not comfortable at all. Like everybody's excited for, I'm going to get transformed, I'm going to be new. I have this new season coming of elevation, of purpose. I'm growing, all good things. But nobody talks about the fact that when you are in transition, when you are being transformed, which will probably be always, two things are happening. You're leaving one place and you're going somewhere else. So sometimes it feels like you're having two completely real, valid realities at the same time that don't match, though. So, for example, a little bit about who I am. I'm mainly known as a single mom of two boys that's been working in purpose and ministry for years, behind the scenes, never this public. But I know I have so much that I can share to encourage young women, women my age, and of course, single mothers in this world that we live in, where a lot of times single mothers are looked at negatively. And so I really just want to be what I didn't have. I want to be a voice of encouragement. I want to be somebody who roots for you, who cheers for you, who lets you know that no matter how you got to be a single mother, no matter how you got to this place where sometimes you may doubt the identity that God has for you and the identity that the world has for you and how they connect may cause confusion. You may not be sure that you deserve love. You may not be sure that God has really forgiven or that you're deserving of the forgiveness that He gives. So I want to be able to speak to all those areas. The goal is just to encourage women, no matter where you are. If you're just at the beginning of transformation, you just started having to raise a child. If you're in the middle and you kind of know where you're going, you're not there, but you're not at the point where you're actually walking in it, but you can kind of start to see how you're growing, you're getting some maturity on you. Or if you're at the end like me and you're at the point of purpose, not the end of life, come on, but purpose, where you are starting to actually do the thing you were created to do. But that still don't look like what you thought it was going to look like. We always want to wait until it's perfect. I wanted to wait to do this until everything was perfect, until everything was in line. And these last couple years for me, they just have not been perfect. They have not been anywhere near perfect. A lot of days I wouldn't even say they've been anywhere near good. But what I will say, so years before I even knew I would be doing this, I wrote a book called Pain of Purpose. Pain of Purpose. Anyway, which talked about how I'd gone through so much pain in my life. I've overcome so many things, from single mother and, like I said, alone with no paternal support from one of my son's fathers at all in any kind of way. And that son just graduated in May and will be going off to college. So my sons are 18 and 25. That's one of the things I've overcome, is so I can help people with that. But identity, I had this tape playing in my head and I had to figure out where the tape came from. And of course, some of it came from my decisions and life things, but a lot of it came simply from the way I grew up. The tape that other people were speaking over me all the time. Things that I thought about myself that were never true, but they were things I heard. So I had to go back and get with God and realize, who did you say I am? Who am I? Just because I made these mistakes, just because I'm out here doing this alone, does that make me any less holy, any less saved, any less worthy of your righteousness because mine looks different? No, is the answer. Can I still raise my children to be saved, to get to know you with no father in the home? Yes. Then just dealing with dating as a single mother, as a single woman, period, as a saved woman. I have so many of those stories. We can't even touch on that right now. But so pain of purpose. Pain led me to purpose. Purpose then brought pressure. In these last 2 years, the pressure. Oh my goodness, the pressure. The weight. And I know so many people are feeling what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying the weight, the unanswered prayers, the why am I still in this? The I've been faithful. I've been a worker. I'm doing my best to live righteous. I'm doing my best to do what the word says for me to do. I'm doing my best not to crash out on people, not to be what I know somewhere in my flesh I'm capable of. But still, nothing's moving. God, what's going on? But what I'm realizing now is that that pressure has produced a power in me that I would have never had, would have never found if it wasn't for having to carry that weight. I'm stronger than I've ever been, more powerful than I've ever been. I've always been an intercessor who prays these eloquent prayers, but I have told people always, and now I got an even better one. The most powerful prayer I've ever prayed was, Jesus, help me. I was at a point where, I didn't really want to be here anymore. Back when I was dealing with my custody battles, I was trying to self-medicate myself out of awareness. And right before I went to sleep one night, I just prayed, Jesus, help me. During that season, that was probably 15 years ago, everything changed. Woke up with a renewed mind. Anyway, we'll get to that story one day. But now, my new prayer is that you can pray once you are trying to live this life of purpose. Jesus, I surrender. You got it. God, I surrender. You know what? You know what I need. You hear these prayers? Rosalind is out of options. I've done everything I can. And I'm strong, and I got lots of ideas. And I have done everything I can to change certain situations. And it's not moving on my time. Things not adding up the way, what you showed me is not. So, you know what? I surrendered. It's up to you now. But the thing was, the key to it is obedience. I've always said obedience is greater than sacrifice was one of my most challenging scriptures. And now I know why. Because for me, a lot of times the obedience is the sacrifice. I don't ever want to come out and be talking to thousands of people. Because once I commit to something, I'm committed, I'm loyal. So now that I've made this video, made this channel, I'm going to continue to do it. I didn't ever really want to do that. I especially didn't want to do that while I still have issues going on in my life. But sometimes, well, not sometimes, with most of us, with God, it's about allowing Him to be your strength, allowing Him to speak through you, moving in faith when you are under pressure, when your life is not looking the way you thought it would look, but here you are, encouraging another woman with the things that you've already been through. So now I'm facing, what am I going to do after single motherhood? Not necessarily get married, but my boys, again, are 18 and 25. My baby is going off to college. That's a transition. I am so excited for him. But at the same time, I'm nervous for me. I'm nervous for him. He is going far away from his home. And he's my baby. So it's like, what am I going to do? Those things can both be true. I am powerful. I can speak. I can pray down heaven for you. And I can watch your prayer. You can post a prayer on this video. Something you need me to pray about. Chances are I can pray about it. And you respond quickly that it changed. But what I'm praying for, well, it may not happen yet. And those can both be true. I've had a lot of answered prayers. This time last year, I was in the hospital facing a life-threatening illness, only to get another life-threatening illness from having a procedure to save me from the life-threatening illness. So I had this issue with my portal vein. I'll explain all that one day in my liver. I had to have a procedure for that. I got sepsis. It kills people all the time. And so I am a miracle. That's true. At the same time, I am waiting for some promises. These are both true. Once we learn to live in that space expectantly and not give up, and not allow the enemy to beat us down to the point where we can no longer be obedient, where a person whose prayers are, most people like, how do you pray like that? And then I'm over here, I ain't got it. I'm just like, for me, I'm like, Jesus, help. I surrender. But for you, I done prayed half the Bible. These can both be true. I can have a higher level of faith that something gonna change in somebody else's life than I do, that it's gonna change in mine. So we need to stop holding ourselves to some standard of perfection, because it just don't exist. And what I would encourage you today, wherever you are, just start. If you gotta start parenting by yourself and quit depending on other people, get all them Uncle Billy's and Ray Rays out your life that's helping you pay your light bill, and let God be your source. Do it. Just start. Pray. God, you my source. You my provider. I've done it. If you need to depend on God in a different way than you've ever depended on him before, if you need to start healing, can be physical, but it's also mental. It can be emotional. If you've been verbally abused, you've been through bad relationships, just start the process. Start writing in your journal. Get a journal if you don't have one. That's been one of the biggest helps I've ever had. I'm hurting. Help me, God. So, as you can see, I'm a talker once I start. So I will stop this now, and I'll be back with more stories. If you happen to watch this, because I'm putting this on the page with nothing. I do have Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. If you're curious what my life looks like, I'm gonna go look over there on any of them places. There's pictures and stuff about me and my boys, especially on Facebook. But stay here if you want to learn just that you're not alone, that there's a community of people just like you, a community of women who every day just get up, put on their armor, and go fight for whatever it is God promised them. Pray and intercede for other people. Pray for themselves. And that's something else. If you don't know how to pray, stay here. If you don't know how to read the Bible, you don't know how to speak over yourself, you don't know how to declare, or you just sometimes wonder if it's working, and you need somebody to tell you that it does work, I got miracle after miracle, testimony after testimony, and I got some hilarious stories. Hilarious. We will probably laugh, cry, but you'll leave inspired. So today, be inspired that the transition phase, that in between, you may feel alone, but you are not alone. You are never alone. That's what I was, we are never alone. If you are saved, if you have accepted Jesus, the Holy Spirit is with you. God has promised to never leave or forsake us. So you are never alone. You may look alone, you may feel alone, but when you cry out to God, you are never alone. And you're not alone here. I will be here encouraging you, rooting for you, praying for you. Like I said, if you have prayer requests, drop them. I'll pray for you. I'll be praying for the page and for the people that cross it anyway. But that's it. Just know the main thing I want people to get, which will always be the thing, is that you are loved, you are forgiven, you are healed, and you are free. And once you realize that, then you can go and live in your purpose on purpose. All right. Love y'all.